Hello and welcome to Mind, Mood and Food podcast with me, Margaret Bell, anti-diet powered coach and gut health expert, and my partner in crime, Adele Derbyshire.
Hello, I am a yoga teacher and creator of Find Your Inner Sparkle, which is a toolbox, 50 ways to help you to look and feel better from the inside out.
And today we are talking about affirmations.
I don't know why I always make that noise when you introduce the podcast. I think I do it on everyone.
Now, I think of affirmations of basically positive sayings or positive quotes that will basically get you towards the goals that you want to reach. But I'm sure, Adele, you might put me straight on that.
Well, not really. I think that is a good explanation. Summary explanation, yeah. Definition, whatever you want to call it. Affirmation, it's definitely, I think you said positive. You would not want to be using a statement over and over again that was negative. But the problem is that's what most of us do.
Yeah.
So left to our own devices, we will do negative affirmations. This is literally just coming through now as I'm talking about it. But it's true. We use negative affirmations, don't we, all the time, because we have thought patterns that are on repeat, our own personal ones, because we're all different. So say you've got a hang up about your body image. I've just been working with in my group recently. And so you probably get up in the morning, you look in the mirror and you probably say, oh, I can't wear that, look at my arms and da-da-da, and it's negative. So we are drawn to the negative naturally, so we don't need any help with that. So what we do need is little tools and tricks to help us to flip and move into the positive. Yeah. And I find affirmations useful for that because I need something to replace the negative with, because if you just try and stop the negative mind chatter, then you're left with like a blank space and your mind doesn't like that. So unless you're doing a targeted meditation where you're, trying to follow a guided meditation, or you're maybe focusing your mind on your breath, so it's given a tool or a toy to play with, left to its own devices, the mind will be going, what about this and what about that, and he said this and she said that and you didn't do that, and making you feel guilty about something that you did wrong and all that sort of stuff. So affirmations can be like a little plug and play tool that you can say, oh, right, just for this next 5 minutes, I'm going to repeat this affirmation. And it kind of replaces and wipes out a little bit of that, negative thinking. Really, with each negative thought, we should replace it with about, I don't know what the stat is now, but like 7 or 9 or 10 positive things, because we need more and more and more of the positive stuff, because the negative stuff's going on all the time. So it's a positive statement or short sentence that can help you to believe something different than the negative story that you might have going on, or to feel different, even if you don't believe it to start with. So that's the important thing, because, and we'll get into it, but there are like a couple of pitfalls with affirmations that sometimes people say, oh, they don't work for me. And there's a reason for that, because if you're, let's take the loving your body one, because I'm sure it's really common. And for people listening to this podcast, Mind, Mood and Food, we probably have got listeners that have, difficulties with that affirmation. So if I was to say, right, I'm going to prescribe you this affirmation because you've got body image issues, and I want you to look in the mirror every day, and I want you to say over and over again, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body. For some people, they're able to accept that and say it without too much difficulty. And over time, number one, it stops that negative thinking because you're replacing it with something positive. And number two, you will start to just believe it because you're repeating it over and over again, and it works in your subconscious, and it's like planting a little seed. But some people will find that really difficult because they really, really don't like their body very much, and they've got lots of kind of trauma or things around it that their subconscious will just go crazy if they try and say that, and their subconscious will just be like, you're kidding, aren't you? What about this bump here and this lump there, and look at the size of your bleep.
God, I completely get what you're saying there,
So
though, because
it'll fight against the
it will do.
affirmation.
Yeah, I've got numbers of clients that, with what I do have issues, body image issues, and to say I love my body is such a huge step.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
For some people, it's too much of a stretch, it's too much of a leap. And well, firstly, they probably just won't do it because it'll feel
It'll
rubbish.
just feel too
It'll
weird.
make them feel, it's too much, so they won't do it. And secondly, even if you do it, if you've got somebody really disciplined that says, right, Margaret or Adele says, I've got to do this, I'm going to do it every day for a month, the subconscious mind can then fight against it. So then what happens is it's kind of counterproductive, because the mind then starts telling you all the reasons that you don't really love your body and what's wrong with it. So I have found that for some people, if you soften it a little bit, so something like, I am learning to love my body, is much more acceptable.
Yeah.
And it feels much nicer, and it's like, yeah, well, I'm on this journey, I'm not there yet, but I'm doing these things to help me with my food or food addiction or emotional eating or whatever it might be. I'm doing a little bit of extra exercise and movement, and so this affirmation, slightly softened, will be super helpful then as another tool in their armory to move towards that much more positive body image.
Yeah. I even break it down into body parts as well. I love my eyes, I love my nose, whatever part of your body that you do actually find that you do like.
Yeah, even like rather than love, because I've just, well, this is going out in October, so we're in summer recording this, and I've just been working on body confidence with my group, as I said, so that kind of thing, breaking it down. And if you really, really dislike, say, your tummy, for example, looking at your hair or your skin or your nose or your eyes, something like that, which is less triggering, I think is the right word. It's a really, really nice way in to then start to see positive in other places. So I'm learning to is a good way that you can replace a lot of affirmations with that one. And another thing you can do is to ask it as a question. So instead of saying I love my body and it's a positive statement and it's just bang, it's that, you can frame it as a question for the mind, like, why do I love my body? And what your mind does then, it can't help it, is to find reasons why, because you've asked it a question. So, if you're not very confident and you're really timid, and confidence is another thing that I work on a lot with the Find Your Inner Sparkle group, it goes hand in hand with body image, really, is if you find it difficult to say, I am confident, even if you're not, it's still useful to do that if you feel okay with it, if you're not somebody that doesn't take to it. But if you do feel like, oh God, I can't say that, I'm arguing against it, I am learning to be confident, or ask yourself, like, why am I confident? And then you'll find those reasons, and your mind will get to work on finding the reasons, and then you'll start to think more positively, because your mind is just trying to answer that question.
And I think, I don't know how many people know my backstory, but when I did binge eat in my 20s, this would have so much helped me, because I can honestly say, put my hands up, I hated looking at myself. It was just like, oh God, no, don't even have a minute in the room, couldn't deal with it. And when I did have a mirror, it was just like, I don't want to see it, end of. So that kind of thing.
Or when if people take pictures and then you're just caught on a picture and you're not, you don't want to be on pictures, but people do, and especially these days, with,
God,
the phones, and there's let's do a selfie, and there are a lot of people that are really not comfortable with that because of that body image.
Exactly. So
relationship,
that little step, that one that you said there, why do I, it really does start the mind thinking there, because it takes away from that negativity. So, well, why do I? There must be reasons why I do. So completely get that. That's
and they might be the ones that we've just said. So finding places that are neutral, even if not positive. So that's another thing, you know, we don't have to try and jump straight to a really positive affirmation about our whole body and about it's about moving in small steps. So if you're really, really negative, moving to neutral, you know, like some part of your body that just feels neither good nor bad, you know, like you know, maybe your teeth or your, you know, your hair. Maybe you've got really gorgeous thick curly hair or lovely colour of hair. Like you've got lovely colour hair, Margaret.
Thank you.
So just something like that. It can be less like I said, I don't know if triggering is the right word, but it's less controversial, or you know, it's less, it's going to cause less kind of ructions and ripples in your mind for saying it. So it's like finding that safer ground and moving slowly. So definitely rephrasing them as questions. And I again helped my group with this and I created a little affirmations freebie, if you like a little summary. It's like a PDF sheet with about, I think it's 8 affirmations on there for, you know, if people are not sure, like, well, what do you mean and what can we say and what can we start with, then if we can put a link somewhere on this podcast in the notes, I'm sure people can just click on that. So you just have to pop your email address in and you will get that winging its way to you. So if you're wanting to get started with affirmations, then definitely drop your email address in there. But some examples as well. What else was I going to say? One that I really love is, it's a question again, and it's the one that I use with the kids always laugh, because if something works out for us, I always say, why does everything always work out for us? You know, if you just get in a car park and it's busy and then you get that space, it's a bit like law of attraction, but it's an affirmation. So I always say, why does everything always work out for me? Like, why is it that everything always just works out exactly as it's meant to? You know, kind of variations on that theme, but you're putting that there into your subconscious as a question, and what you're doing is you're creating this positive attitude, which is so important for actual health. I'm just reading another book at the minute, can't remember the name of it. It's about midlife. It's brilliant, and it's just by a nurse or a doctor, I think she is. But one of the biggest ones are problems. What, I don't know if problems. I'm having trouble with my words today. It's too hot. It's not hot when you're listening to this, for sure, but it is.
I'm sure
it is at the minute.
Everyone will be like, oh, it's too cold.
Everyone will be like, she just say it was too hot. About 2 degrees, and I've got my big coat on probably when we're listening to this, but I can't find my words today. But one of the problems, but one of the contributing factors. Dum, dum, dum. That was brilliant to pull that out of the bag, wasn't it? Perimenopause, Meech. Are you kidding? I'm not there yet. Contributing factors to aging and creating dis-ease or disease in our bodies, because as we know, over 40, between 40 and 60, there's a lot of problems and issues start to arise, and we can get chronic conditions and stuff like that. And attitude was right at the top of the list in this research and in the stats, and I'm like, oh, this is brilliant, you know, really good information. I mean, if we know that, I mean, we do know it's important, but I don't think everybody out there realizes how important that is. I love when you've got a bit of research and stats behind things, because people's attitude does start to probably change around 40 if you think of it, and you start to think, oh, you know, it's all downhill from it. Well, it's the whole thing, isn't it? All downhill from 40. And then we changed it to life begins at 40, which is nicer. But our attitude is really important. And actually putting something like this affirmation in, like, why is it that, you know, everything works out for me? Why am I getting healthier and healthier every day? You know, so you can use anything, literally anything. But if you need some ideas, like I said, you can start with the 8 that I've created. But I would definitely play with this. I'd definitely give it a go. I wouldn't just be like, yeah, I've not got time for that, because there are ways you can put this into your daily routine, which if you've listened to previous podcasts, you'll know that I'm passionate about things like morning routines. So what you could do is you could take don't know, 3, 4, 5 affirmations, whatever you want, and write them down on little post-its and just stick them up, even like on the inside of your bathroom cabinet,
Yeah.
because you're going in there every morning anyway, and you're just standing there doing tea. So you might be doing the gratitude practice. You should be doing, if you've listened to gratitude podcast
Come on,
and
people.
morning routines podcast, you'll be like, yeah, well, I already do my gratitude practice when I clean my teeth, Adele, so I can't do this as well. But then you can, you know, do it while you're having your shower or getting dressed. Another really good way to do it is, I like sometimes going on YouTube and just typing in like positive affirmations, because then the work's done for you. So you just put it on your phone while you're getting ready, putting your makeup on. And instead, because if you weren't doing that, what would you be doing?
Exactly.
Maybe looking in the mirror and complaining about your body, or looking at your skin and saying, oh God, you know, like there's extra wrinkles there now under my eyes. And whereas if you've got a positive affirmation, yes, look at, you can't see because you're not on the video. Me and Margaret can see each other's laughter lines, crinkles. And you know, you'd be doing that otherwise. I would be, if my mind got left to its own devices, I'd probably be thinking what I've got to do for the rest of the day, maybe having a little worry about it or anything like that.
Exactly.
So if you use your positive affirmations and get like a rampage, as Abraham and Esther Hicks call it, you know, they're going on a positive rampage. So just put something like that in your ears every morning. Can you imagine how powerful that is, instead of letting your attitude drag you down as you get older?
It'll only take a few minutes.
Yeah.
So literally a couple of minutes.
But you don't even need to stop. Like,
no,
what if you
doing.
commute every day in the car?
Yep.
What if you are on the train? You know, that there's probably, I think it's Tony Robbins that calls it net time, no extra time. So these are the types of things that I love doing when I'm doing something else. If you're doing the cleaning, if you're commuting to work, if you're out walking, anything like that. But sometimes people might not think, they don't know what to maybe look up. To even note that this stuff's out there. So hopefully this will inspire people to you know, just look more positive affirmation type stuff up. You know, you can get, they've got inspiring music behind them, and yeah, so attitude is everything. And if we let our attitude slip, if you want to think to the future when you're 60, 70, 80, 90, and you want to be the best version of you that you can, you want to feel healthy and vibrant and not get the diseases in your body, which stress and, you know, overeating and all the things, lack of movement create, combining something like the positive affirmations into your day is just going to be really powerful.
Yeah, and I'm sure the likes of doing that would automatically have the effect of reducing stress, which is the main cause of dis-ease in our body. So
yeah, all the autoimmune diseases and the inflammation, you know, I think people vastly underestimate the power of the attitude that's behind that. And you know, it's really common for people to just think, oh, it's just happened to me, you know, and I couldn't do anything about it, or you know, woe is me, it's not fair, why have I got this in it? And there is a lot of things that we can do ourselves. And if people are listening to this, yes, if you have got a condition or a disease, you know, that it's not that I'm saying it's your fault, but it's just that there are contributing factors to it, and it's never too late to do things like move a bit more and eat healthily and change the attitude. And these are all the contributing factors that, you know, we can't necessarily completely prevent. Things like life is life and things happen, but if you want to give yourself the best chance, then why wouldn't you, you know, adopt a few of these, you know, healthier routines and practices? That's what this podcast's all about, really, isn't it?
Oh yes, definitely, absolutely. And I do believe we've nearly done a whole podcast without mentioning
coffee. I think we have, because I don't think I'm gonna shoehorn that one in there. Do you know, unless you start talking about when it's too hot, like a hot day, you could have an iced coffee instead. But I think that's just, you know, for another day, to be honest, another podcast. So yeah, I think you're right. So well done to me for getting that in, I think. So yeah, choose some statements that I think the final thing I'd say is choose, something that you find is a real problem for you. So say it is body image, and that's like, oh, that's a real bugbear for you. Choose something like that. And just if you're struggling with your affirmations, think about what is the negative thing that you say to yourself, and then flip it. So it might be like, I hate my body, I hate my arms, I hate my tummy, or whatever. So you can just flip that to, I love my tummy, I love my arms. And that then if that's too much of a stretch, you go to, I'm learning to, or you choose another body part, so you can soften it in that way. But maybe it's confidence that is the big thing for you. Maybe it's body image, maybe it's your health, maybe you're wanting to work on better health. So I am healthy, I am, I'm working on my health. Or do you see what I mean? Just kind of pick the thing that's
your bugbear.
That's really prevalent for you in your life, because if we try too many things, it can be a bit overwhelming. And just start there, and then just get started. And I would love to hear from people if you're inspired and you're going to start doing this. It would be lovely to hear that you're on the affirmation train.
Brilliant. Yeah, I know that. Crikey, I see a few affirmations to myself and wholly believe in them. If you can see yourself going down that road, shall we say, they're brilliant to kind of just, as you say, flip it.
And it is one of those things we need reminding about. Like, I'll go through phases of using them and then forget and need to be reminded again. So I think, after this, I'm going to get on my, I save them, in YouTube. If you get ones that you like, you can just save them, and then they're there. But even for things like, working on your business, if you've got your own business or your career and you're wanting to achieve and attract certain things in your life and your business, their affirmations are great for that as well. So it's like really good for just working on like law of attraction.
Fantastic. Brilliant one today, Adele.
Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have enjoyed today's episode, I often meet the occasional person that says, oh my God, I love your podcast and listen to it all the time when I'm doing this or washing the dishes or out walking. I would love to, speaking of no extra time, I would love to hear where your favourite place is to listen to this podcast.
Oh, where's the weirdest place?
I was gonna. I knew there was an awkward pause, and I mind read that. Mind read you were going to say that then, Margaret, and I just had an image of where that might be, but I'm not going to say it. You don't want to hear? Yeah, go on. We do. Where's your favourite place to listen? And so if they're weird, that's fine. As we said the other week, I think last week or the week before, we'd love to do some like listener shout outs. So if you do write in, I will definitely give you a shout out. Keep it clean though, people.
Please try and keep it clean.
Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thank you, Adele. It's been great.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.